What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire TV, where we bring it to you real and we bring it to you raw. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you leave a comment, share the video. Someone might need to hear this message. So finally, man, we're going to get over to the West Coast. Got a guy on that's coming over from the West Coast, did a bunch of time in California, but he can tell his story better than I can. So, Kenny, I'm going to let you take the mic, tell the people who you are, where you're from, and talk a little bit about your time in California.
What's up, Chad? Hey, what's up, fam? My name's Kenny. I did all my time out in Cali, from Southern California. Got caught up, you know what I mean, when I was 19, and did something, honestly, I don't regret. I mean, I'll just put that out there right now. I don't regret what I did. But it got me caught up and pretty much took, I guess what you could say, the important time of your life away, you know what I mean? When you grow up and figure out what you're going to do in life, and just made a wrong turn, man, and you know how it goes. You've been there.
I know exactly how it goes, but you know, the people are going to be thinking right now, he said he doesn't regret it. So tell the people what you did, how you ended up in prison. What was the crime? Talk a little bit about it.
All right, man, I'm just going to keep it real with y'all, you know what I'm saying? It was sitting there one night with all my homeboys, and, you know what I mean, it's back in 98, and, you know, fucking around with our meth and getting it all mixed up and ready to sell, and there was a knock at my door. You know, I didn't know who it was. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning, man, and I opened the door, and rest in peace, it was my baby sister. She was beat to hell, man, and she looked right at me, and I'm not going to mention no names, but she told me that dude beat her up and raped her. And let's just say I caught an attempted murder. And that's what happened.
It's understandable, man. That was your baby sister, and you went and did what you felt you had to do, and you don't regret it. If I was in that position, I wouldn't probably regret it either. Not one day, not 1 hour. I think it sucks that, you know, you lost the best years of your life, as some might say, you know, from, 19 to, 30?
Yes, sir.
19 years old, you walk into the California prison system. Were you nervous?
Bro, nervous ain't the word, man. Bro, you know what I mean? I grew up around a lot of dudes that did a lot of time, and everything I'd hear from them, you know what I mean? It was, I was nervous as hell. You know what I mean? You can't really, I didn't show it, but inside, I was beyond nervous.
What's it like for a young white dude to walk into the California prison system? Are you approached right away by gang members? Do people want to know who you ride with? They're asking where you're from. Tell us about that.
Yeah, usually the first thing you get asked when you walk in, you know, you get asked about your paperwork. They want to see your paperwork. Then they ask where you're from and if you ride with anybody. And if you ride with somebody, then you get pointed to, you know, that little group of dudes. And if you're by yourself, you know what I mean, there's another little group of dudes. And, you know what I mean, everybody looked out for everybody. I'm not going to lie. But that's literally the first question you get in. That you don't even get asked your name, you know what I mean? They want to see your paperwork, which is understandable. I mean, I understand that.
And what happens in California if your paperwork's messed up? What do they do?
And you get checked off the yard.
Do they let you just leave? Do they beat you off the yard? Do they stab you? I mean, how does that work?
When I was there was no talking, you know what I mean? Your paperwork got given to whoever had the keys, and they read it, and if it was bad, you know what I mean? It was, oh, you're cool, homeboy, blah, 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 but the minute them doors popped, you were gonna get checked off the yard. And, you know what I mean? I can't really speak anything from 2010 on, but when I was in there, it was, you know what I mean? A lot of dudes were slipping and sliding. Eventually they got caught, you know, and I'm pretty sure everybody watching this done time knows when you slip and slide and you try to duck and dodge and you get caught, what's going to happen.
I hear you.
A lot of times they never made it to us, if you want the truth, bro. They would, when you came in a classification, they went through your charges and stuff, and sometimes I really honestly don't know how dudes made it on the yard.
Sometimes you think
they get a lot of protection.
Do you think sometimes the cops send people out there to get damaged, so to speak?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, most definitely. There was a situation. Let me tell you this real quick. In 2008, they let some dude on the yard, and my cellie had the keys at the time, and we were kicking back talking, and this is no bullshit, bro. Like an envelope came under the door, and it was the dude's charges. I mean, dude had some loot acts on a minor, so you know what I mean. He should have never been on that yard. So I mean, when the doors popped, you know what happened, and we did what we had to do to get him off there. And the cops pretty much let it happen. I mean, you know when the cops want it to happen, bro. They drag ass getting there.
Yeah, I've seen that plenty of times. So, you know, you went in there young. Did you ever have to put in work in there at all?
Yeah, I put in my work, but it wasn't so much as being told as raising my hand.
Let's talk about that a little bit, because some guys will raise their hand, and you know, I know what it means, but some of the viewers don't. Tell the viewers what, you know, raising your hand means and how that comes about.
Well, raising your hand basically means when a situation arises within your race, sometimes they'll just tell you, or they'll pick somebody and send them on their way to do what's got to be done. But like with my situation, I had a little chunk of time, and you know, I mean, I wanted everybody to know who I was, so I would raise my hand like, "Hey, what needs to be handled? I got it." That probably happened within probably the first 6-7 months I was in there.
What did you end up doing? Did you have to stab someone, hit him with a lock? What did you have to do?
Yeah, me and my cellie, we allegedly poked holes in this dude. You know what I mean? Yeah, he had a major drug debt. He was dope fiend, and I'm sure everybody watching knows that too. You know what I mean? And it had to happen, and you know what I mean? They were gonna have somebody do it that was going home in a couple of years, as to where I was going home in a chunk of years, and so I went ahead and was like, I got it. You know what I mean? And what had to be done.
Were you worried about getting more time? Did that ever enter your mind? Like, hey, man, if I go stab this dude, I might kill him?
At the time, no. Honestly, no. I was just want to be that guy, you know what I mean?
Well, sometimes you have to live.
Shouldn't have done it, but
sometimes you have to live that prison life in there, right? I mean, it is what it is, right? No matter what it is.
You don't have a choice, bro. Sometimes you don't really. I mean, you have a choice, but if you make the wrong choice, that's going to be bad. And I mean, as much as I hate to say that, because it shouldn't be that way, if you go to prison and you don't want to bang and you just want to do your time, whether it be a little bit of time or a lot of time, your people should understand that. You know what I mean? Like, and a lot of times I seen they weren't trying to hear it.
Let me ask you this, right? You're a young man, you go into the California prison system. Was it tempting not to get tipped up or to join a gang? I mean, it's pretty gang affiliated there on the West Coast, right? In California?
Oh yeah, I mean, they're everywhere, you know what I mean? You got your skinheads from literally every county, you know what I mean? But see, when I was on the yard, you weren't around no brothers, you weren't around no riders. You know what I mean? They were already on the indeterminate shoe program. So you basically dealt with, I'd say, associates, maybe, you know what I mean? But a lot of them were skins. Like, believe it or not, there was a lot of skinheads. And there's just so many of them, you know what I mean? We all ride together, but when it, you know what I mean, you could tell who's from where, because they'd be, you know what I mean, in their little groups.
So let's say the Bram was on the yard, or let's say, you know, some of the riders were on there, Nazi low riders. Would you think if they were present that, you know, your decisions might have been a little bit different?
Honestly, no. You know what I mean? Just because they weren't there, you know what I mean, didn't mean they didn't know what the hell was going on. So, you know what I mean? It's just, I was about, if something went down, I was with us. You know what I mean? It was just,
California.
I knew I wasn't in there forever. So.
Yeah. California prison system, man, is it racially segregated? It is in the feds, kind of.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. They don't even try to sell you up outside of your race. You know what I mean? I don't know about now, But back then, yeah, it was pretty segregated.
So are you allowed to do business with black dudes in prison over there? Like, let's say they're making sandwiches. Would you be allowed to buy one?
Oh no,
Okay.
no, that's a big no-no. You get told that pretty much when you come in. You know what I mean? That can't really do nothing with them.
No sports, no nothing?
Mm-mm. Like the only time it was like really allowed back in the day was like tournaments. You know, you could sign up for tournaments. They'd have like pinochle tournaments and stuff. And say you and your homeboy ended up against a team of black dudes. You know what I mean? That was cool. You could sit down and play them. You know what I mean? And I knew a couple black dudes from the streets in there too. So
Well, a lot of people don't understand that's how prison operates in some places. Um, some of the shot callers got their own reasons why they do things like that to avoid issues pretty much, right?
yeah, you had your shot callers, and then you had your speakers of the yard. You know what I mean? Someone who was designated, like when there was a lockdown, there was someone designated from each race to go and talk to the captain and try to get the shit figured out so we'd get off lockdown and stuff like that.
Understandable. Tell me about your upbringing, man. How'd you grow up? Did you grow up poor? Did you grow up middle class? I mean, what did you do as a kid? Did you play sports? Tell me about that.
Uh, Honestly, bud, I had a pretty good upbringing. You know what I mean? I played football when I was a kid. Both my parents worked. They were good parents. I idolized my uncle. And my uncle was, you know what I mean, at that time, back in the 90s, someone you didn't want to fuck with in my town. And I thought he was untouchable, and I was like, man, I want to be like you, you know what I mean? Like, well, he ended up doing a bid. He went in 93 and then got out, I believe, in 97, and then turned around and went right back, caught like 17 years. And I basically just followed in his footsteps, and you know what I mean? I didn't have a bad upbringing, I had good parents. It was just the choices I made, bro. You know what I mean? I decided to run with that crowd, and it was the wrong choice. You know what I mean? Now I look back on it, but
Sometimes we make wrong choices. What do you think is one of the worst things you've seen in that California prison system? I mean, violent-wise.
all right, me and literally my wife were literally just talking about this the other night. We were watching one of your videos. I don't remember which one it was, but it showed. I think Bubba Sparks got stabbed, and then his cellie came and took old boy out, and
Yeah.
it took me back to a time, brother. I was in Chino. I was in Pall Mall. It basically was a shoe for, I mean, if you were trying to be somebody, that's where you were. There was a couple brand members in there, some riders, and a bunch of big homies, you know what I mean? And well, we were out at the yard, and we were working out, and like I said, I'm not gonna say no names, but really good homeboy of mine was doing pull-ups, and I was told that he was gonna be dealt with to stay out of it. And it's hard to talk about it because it was one of the, he was doing pull-ups, and when you're doing pull-ups, you're pulling yourself up and you got your chin back. Well, he was in a set of pull-ups, and the other homeboy walked up behind him, man. He had a toothbrush with 14 razor blades in it. And cut him ear to ear.
Jesus.
And it was all over like $150 in dope, bro. I watched dudes sit there and die. And there was nothing I could do about it. Your first instinct is to run to him because he's your homeboy. But if you do that, you're next. And I've seen a lot of gruesome shit, but that was being like pretty much front row for that was pretty wicked. Because the yards are small there, and you're only on the yard with your race, so.
Did it affect you mentally, man, to see something like that? Or did it affect it just a little bit of time? Did you get over it? I mean, does it still bother you? Those are the things I want to know.
It affects you mentally big time. If I was to say it didn't, I'd be straight lying to you, bro, and I'm not going to do that. I'd be lying to all your viewers. It affects you to the point where I thought, I got all this time to do, and if that's what I'm going to be seeing this whole time, I need to You need to just like block it out and move on with it. I mean, I've had dreams about it to this day. You know what I mean? It was a homeboy. You know what I mean? I knew the dude from the streets, and in my opinion, you know what I mean? Yeah, you think, oh, it's just some dope. You know what I mean? Well, if we were on the streets, well, you know what I mean? We're not on the streets, and it's taken real serious, and they're way more serious than it would ever be taken on the streets. And you know what I mean? That's a majority of what I've seen was dudes getting hit over dope deaths. I mean, that honestly back then went on a lot.
You know, I think it's crazy when, you know, people go and do shit like that over $150. Like, the dude lost his life for $150. He died, right?
Yep. It was, I don't know, man. I couldn't imagine the call his family got. You know what I mean? Sitting here talking about it, just like, yeah, it was $150 in dope, dude. And on the streets, that's only like $20. And it's like, wow. Like, but, you know what I mean? And there you play the game, you're going to pay the price if you don't play right.
So the dude that killed him, I mean, was he serving a lot of time? Was he doing life already?
Honestly, if you want the honest to God's truth, bro, I think he was just there on a violation, but I also believe he was trying to earn his bones.
So he'd rather pick that. He'd rather pick the homeboys in the gang over his freedom, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. A lot of people make that choice in there.
Are you amazed that people make that choice when a guy's got a couple of years and he's willing to go kill someone so he can be a part of an organization?
Oh yeah, I mean, if that didn't surprise anybody, I'd be shocked. You know what I mean? Like, bro, you basically got an out date. And you just went and pretty much said, fuck that out date. I've seen people that have families waiting for them, you know what I mean? Wives waiting for them, kids waiting for them, and still go do that shit.
So it's kind of like what we talked about the other day in the Troy Kell video, where dudes are willing to fuck their whole lives off because they want to be, I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what they want to be. They want to aspire to be this guy. You know, that you want to be a part of this organization, but do you really want to give up everything that the world has to offer out here in order to be that dude in prison, to be a part of an organization? You just fucked your whole life off. But not only your own life, like you said, there's dudes that got, you know, wives out there and kids waiting on them, and you just put that shit in front of them. And I don't respect that, bro. I just don't.
You didn't just fuck your life off, man. That you don't take into account all the people that you're going to hurt by not coming home, and they're expecting you to come home. You know what I mean? And I guess you could look at it as even the dudes that go in there with a little bit of time, you know, I mean, I know it seems rough. It's rough no matter what. You know, I mean, you go in there, 90-day violation, it's going to feel like forever. But when it comes down to it, you know, I mean, you're making the ultimate choice. You know what I mean? Nobody's forcing you to do anything. And I can honestly say that when I was doing time, nobody was forced to do anything. You know what I mean? And I was one of them ones, well, if you're going to ask me to do something, you need to go with me. You know what I mean? Because don't ask somebody to do something that you're not willing to do yourself.
You know, I used to tell people that all the time, man. I'm not going to tell you to do something I'm not willing to do myself. I wouldn't send dudes on dummy missions, man. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I always made thoughtful decisions, man. I do it now in my life every day. I make thoughtful decisions. I don't just say, hey, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to jeopardize this kid that's got 2 years left, little 19, 20-year-old kid. He's only doing a 2-year bid. We're not sending him out there to kill someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I've seen that happen, you know what I mean? And I voiced my opinion that it wasn't right. And I mean, you get DP. You know what I mean? You voice your opinion, you get DP. You know what I mean? You don't get checked or anything, but you're gonna be on that yard doing burpees all fucking day. I can tell you that. And honestly, sometimes that's worse than getting a 2-on-1. You know what I mean?
How many burpees they make you do, man, when they DP you?
Navy SEALs.
How many? 100, 1,000, 500, 2 hours?
Your first discipline. Let me see. I don't want to be wrong about this, but if I remember correctly, your first discipline was 188 Navy SEALs, and that was like impossible to get through. Then if you got DP'd again, it went to 500, and then there was really no third burpee try. after that, you got pretty much handled.
So it wasn't like baseball was different. 2 strikes and you're out in this game.
Yeah, pretty much.
You ever have to do burpees?
Yeah, a few times. Not gonna lie, a few times. Yeah.
What did you get DP'd for? I'm curious.
Just mouthing off. They, according to the shot caller, being disrespectful because I said I didn't like a call that was made. You know what I mean? I don't think it was right. You know what I mean? It should have been handled differently. Apparently that's disrespect.
Yeah, you better not question authority. Your homeboy, right? They kill him. Do you think in your mind, man, was there ever a point where, like, if you would have known it, they're going to kill him and not just, you know, hit him up or whatever, do you think you might have made a different decision?
That's a hard one to answer, bro, because, you know what I mean? If I was to make that decision, then you have to remember, you know what I mean? And I've seen this happen to a few guys. You don't have a choice. They put you on an SMY yard. And think about that, you know what I mean? And this is what, you know what I mean? I understand when people step away or drop out or do whatever you got to do, you know what I mean? But if you have a chunk of time and you pull some shit like that, you mean to tell me you're willing to go over there with a bunch of convicted child molesters and do your time, you know what I mean? Instead of just tell them, hey, this is, you know what I mean? You can't voice your opinion. I'll tell you that right now. I don't know about now. Like I said, I can't speak from 2010 on. But back then, voicing your opinion got you in trouble. You know what I mean? Unless you knew somebody. You know what I mean? You had to know somebody in order to be able to get away with shit.
So, like I said, you're a young man. You're 19 years old. And it's important. This is an important interview because there's 19-year-olds watching this show, right? It might be some 19-year-old white dude over in Cali watching this. When you went to prison at 19, did you ever think, man, I'm never getting out of here? Or did you ever think, like, man, this is a lot of time, man? Tell us how you felt.
Yeah. That crosses your mind, you know what I mean? For a minute, because, you know, when you're 19, brother, 9 years feels like forever, you know what I mean? And in all actuality, I ended up doing 11 because I was a knucklehead and added 2 years on. And the first year is probably the roughest, you know what I mean? Because you're going through reception and you're going through this and then you got to go through classification and, you know what I mean? They got to figure out where they're going to send you. And then they're, you know, with me, with my charge, they're like, oh, you're level 4. So it wasn't, I didn't go to no level 1, 2. No, I went straight to the big boys. It was like, oh, shit. You know what I mean? And then, you know what I mean? It's not as violent as some people would think it is. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. We have our share of violence up in there. But the way it's portrayed, they don't show the other half of it. A lot of the shit pops off because of the cops. You know what I mean? And I had to deal with that the day I went in there. You know what I mean? Dude tell me, take off your fucking clothes, blah, blah, stand there naked, and there's nothing you can say about it. You know what I mean? You smart off, you got to deal with 4 or 5 of them. So yeah, when the first year, I thought I was never getting out. You know what I mean? It seemed like that out date was so far away.
So you feel like the cops were pretty disrespectful over there?
Oh yeah. And you know what I mean? Back then, yeah, and they don't show you that, like on them lockups and shit. They only show you when we fuck up, but they don't show when the cops go and search your cell and rip your personal pictures on the wall, stomp on them all over the floor, you know what I mean, and laugh at you about it. Like, you know what I mean, dealing with that, and then, you know what I mean, dealing with all the other shit that goes on in there ain't cool, you know what I mean, because you get into it with a cop, put your hands on a cop, you know as well as I do that you're done for. You know what I mean?
Are the cops, do you think any of the cops were scared at all?
Yeah. There was some, don't get me wrong, that were really, really fucking cool. You know what I mean? And then you had your ones that were, you know, assholes, did everything they could to push your buttons. And then you just had the ones that were there for their paycheck.
Do you think the cops were scared of the ABs, like the top guys?
I believe so. It's just out there, you know what I mean, they're all slammed down. They're all in the shoes and, you know what I mean, they don't go anywhere unless there's 4 cops around them and, You know what I mean? Honestly, though, dude, I think the biggest fear in any cop would have been the MA.
Hey, listen, let me tell you something. I talk about them like I got some real good friends, man, that are Serranos. Man, I got a dude that I try to help out. I've been trying to help him out. He's got 35 years. He's from LA. I'm really, really close with him. And I said that they were the most dangerous gang in federal prison. At least to me, they were. You know what I mean? They play no games. If the big homie says, "Hey, man, stab that cop," they're gonna do whatever the big homie says. 99% of them are doing what the big homie says. So it's the same way over there. Are they dangerous?
Yeah, they're very dangerous. You know what I mean? Also, you know what I mean? Any gang that's unified, that's willing to do whatever it takes, you know what I mean, is very dangerous. But yeah, they're probably some of the most dangerous ones in there.
Are they always working out, stuff like that?
Oh yeah, but they're awesome. You know what I mean? I met quite a few that were pretty fucking cool to kick back and talk with. You know what I mean? Just had real good head on their shoulders. They were just had done so much time that was their life. You know what I mean? Doesn't make them a bad person. You know what I mean? Just because that's their life doesn't make somebody a bad person. It just means they made the wrong choice and they adapted to what they had to deal with.
I mean, they do what they have to do, but my interactions with them have always been, man, on some straight, hey, man, they're super respectful. Like you said, cool, joke around. I used to laugh and play with this kid, Droopy and Sad Boy, in Big Sandy, one of the most dangerous prisons in the country. We had a little crew, man. We used to joke, play, laugh. But, when it was time for business, they handled their business, without a doubt. Same way over there, I suppose.
Oh yeah, they're very respectful. Very, a lot of them are hilarious. You know what I mean? But yeah, when it came time to handle business, it was time to handle business.
Were you ever with any NF members over there? Norteños, Northerners?
No, they keep them pretty much separated there. Like they do their best to keep them from like a certain point in California up north, and then the Serranos down south. I mean, I personally never been with any of them though.
And you're from Southern California, right?
Yeah.
So at 19, you're in prison. What are you thinking when you're in there, man? When you lay down in your bed, were you thinking about the streets, man? Kind of like that dude in that Shot Caller movie. Were you thinking about what you might have wanted in life?
Yeah, almost every day. Like, because I've seen a lot of people you've had on here say, I mean, it's a totally different world behind them walls, and it is. There's their own set of rules, their own set of politics, you know what I mean? And the outside world just continues moving, and I mean, there was times, bro, I mean, and anybody who says they haven't, you know what I mean, that's done a stretch of time, I was probably lying, but there's been many nights I've laid there and had tears come down my face thinking, man, what if? You know what I mean? Like, what if? And what if I didn't do this? Where would I be at right now out there? And
when you were laying back on the bed, what were you thinking? What were you thinking that you wanted? What did you want?
I didn't want to be in there. You know what I mean? I wasn't living the best life on the streets, you know what I mean? I was doing stupid shit, but I had my own place, my own car, you know what I mean? Always had money. I wanted to get high at the time, I could always get high. And, I mean, once I got arrested, all that was gone. You know what I mean? It was taken away, and there was nothing I could do about it.
Were there times when you were thinking like, damn, man, I want to be a dad someday. I want to coach my son's baseball team or throw him a football? Or were there days where you were like, man, I just want to get out and be a partier, or I want to go out and ride a skateboard and surf? Or did you feel like, man, I want a family someday. I want to be normal?
Yeah, that right there, that last one, man, I wanted a family. I wanted to be normal. I didn't, you know what I mean? Because it's weird because a lot of guys in prison, bro, they, you know what I mean? They're used to it. So you're watching them do their time, and you're sitting there thinking to yourself, you know what I mean? How are they so kicked back and used? This is cool to them, you know what I mean? Just joking and laughing, and then as I started doing more time, I started understanding why. Because if you don't, you're going to be a very, very miserable person in there.
So did you become that dude that 3-4 years later that could sit back and laugh, and some young dude's looking at you now like, how the hell is he being all right?
Yeah, pretty much. You know what I mean? I talked to a couple guys about 5-6 years into my sentence that came in and just told him, you know what I mean, it's going to be what you make it. It sucks. You'll see me out here laughing with the homeboys, everybody cracking it up, but no, deep down inside, we're all hurting. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to be there. You know what I mean? You put on that facade, and, you know, the only way to get through the day, bro, is to try to smile. Think, hey, at least I'm alive, you know what I mean? Like, at least I'm still here doing something.
How about violations? You catch any violations?
Nope. I caught some inside. Well, you don't get violations when you're doing your time. I caught a lot of write-ups, yeah. That's how I had it.
No, I'm talking about when you got out of prison. When you get out of prison, did you ever violate and go back to prison on like a parole violation?
Nope. I got everything done, fines paid, classes done. Bro, when I walked out, man, the guard, and I'll never forget his name, man. His name was Ortiz. As I was walking out of R&R, he looked at me and he goes, all right, man, I'll see you soon. And I kind of stopped and I turned around and I looked at him. I said, no, you won't. Oh, I hear that from everybody that walks out of here. And I looked at him, I said, nah, man. I said, I've had enough. I've seen enough. I've been through enough. I don't want this no more. And I had a really good support system when I got out. And I think that's what helped me get through it. If I'd have been on my own.
Brother, I just want to say thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate you. Appreciate you sharing your experiences. But before we go, is there anything you want to say to the kids out there, or what message would you give them or to your younger self?
Yeah, man. You know, me and my wife were just talking a little while ago, and it's like, I mean, it's all fun and games while you're out there getting high and making money and all that. You know what I mean? All the fun's going to stop when you get caught, but there'll still be the games, and you ain't going to like the games that's going to be played, you know what I mean? So just stop and take 2 minutes, man, to think about the consequences to your actions. And, you know what I mean? Half time it's not going to be worth it, man, because it's no fun behind them walls, brother.
Definitely not no fun, man. Again, listen, I appreciate you coming on. I'm going to close the show. Tell everybody to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share the video. With respect, Blood on the Razor Wire TV. Until tomorrow, we're out.